lessons. Okay, so we've got another Excel task for us to do, or exercise, and here's the instructions here which you will have a link to. So what we're going to be doing is we'll be using this data here and we'll be following down these instructions here. So if you guys get lost, come back here and you'll be able to see what we're up to or where to go next. Right, so it says enter the following data into an Excel worksheet and then complete the questions. Well, we don't actually need to enter that in. What we can do is simply select it all like that and copy it. So copy that. I'm going to move that to the side and then we'll get Excel open. So here we go, and it's opened over here. So we'll have a blank workbook, and I'm going to click on the row, the cell A2, and paste in, and you can see all the data has gone straight in like that. I'll double click that line there just to resize those cells. So if you didn't know that, that's what we do. Double click right up in the top there, make sure you get on the border, and then it resizes the cell to be the correct size. Okay, so going back to our worksheet here, we've done that. Create a suitable title. Well, a suitable title is going to be student marks, so we'll put that right across the top. And then it says find the average for each person and each subject. So we'll do those two jobs now. Okay, so a title. First of all, we want it to go in all of those cells. So we select them all like that, and on our home ribbon there's a merge and center button. So we'll click on that and then come back in here and simply write student marks, and that's looking good. Oops, I haven't spelled student correctly. Now keep everything neat and tidy. It's always best to do that, so have capitals on the beginning of each word, especially in the title, and you can see that we've done it all the way down there and all the way across there as well. So we certainly need to do it there. Now I'm going to just format this a bit. So we'll increase the size to probably, we'll make it 18, and I think we'll leave it like that. Okay, so now our headers across the top here, we're going to put some background colour in. I usually like grey. We'll go a light grey like that, and then we'll do the same down there. Now if I just push F4, it will repeat the last action. So there we go, let's put grey in there. The next thing is we're going to have averages off the bottom here and off the end. So what we really want to do here is, and I think I can do it by selecting the entire table of data there, is to go to our border, and we want a thick bottom border. So I'm going to do thick bottom border there, and then I also want one along the right hand side. Now there's not a shortcut there. So what we can do is we can go down here where it says more borders, and we've already got one along the bottom, so we will choose a thick one there, and we will click there and it will go down the right hand side. Now we'll OK that, just move away from it, and you can see that's what we want. Okay, so up here we're going to have our student average, and that's not going to fit within the text, So what we'll do is we'll go back in there and we will word wrap it. You'll see the wrap text, and there's a picture there of what it does. If I move my cursor, oh yes, I can do it. Okay, so rather than everything being in a straight line, when we wrap the text, it will go down to be in 2 lines. So that's what we want to do there. So we're going to do that there. Just go back and have a look at it, and that's looking good. I think what we might do up here is just centre that text, and I think I'll also make it, I might make it a little bit larger. So we're up to maybe about 11, looks a good size. And then we will do the same here. So F4 to do the same, makes it the same size. And to double click that line again, just to resize that column. Okay, so we've got a student average that we'll be putting down there, and we've got a subject average, which we'll put along the bottom. And once again, we're going to have to double click that line. Now, we need to write a formula, so it begins with an equals, and this formula is going to find the average of this data. So we want to use the average function, and then we use the open bracket, and it asks what numbers we want in there. So I'm just simply going to click and drag down here all of those cells that we want included, and Excel automatically puts the right addresses in there. B3 and the semicolon, no, the colon means 2, so the double dots means 2, and then B9. So B3 to B9, and then we finish it off with a round bracket and push enter, and we've got a nice average there. And we're going to fix up those decimal places later. But for the moment, we're going down into the bottom right hand corner, wait till the cursor goes into a plus sign like that, and then we'll drag it across, and then that automatically puts the formula in, and you can see it up there. So now so this cell here is finding the average of the biology marks. Okay, we're going to do the same here. We're going to find John Smith's average for all of his subjects that he did. So that will be equals average, open bracket, select our text, select the cells, and close the bracket and push enter. And he got an average of 75.4, and we're going to fill it down like that. Now it's about time that we fixed up this format. Well, actually that's okay. We're going to leave it as 75.4. And actually that's what our instructions say. So if I bring back the instructions, it says adjust all average decimal places to 1. We've actually got to do these next. So we're going to sort from the lowest to the highest person's average, and then we're going to find the highest mark for each subject. So we'll take that back. We're going to get rid of all of these decimals except for the to 1 decimal place. So we'll go up here, and I think it's on our number here, yes, and it's this one here. Decrease the decimals, so click, and if you're watching the cells, and I click again, and that's taken it down to 1 decimal place. So that's what we want. Okay, so our instructions are now to find the highest mark for each of these subjects. So we'll give ourselves a little title here, highest mark. Okay, and we'll tab that, and tab moves to the right hand side. Now we need to find the highest mark, so we go equals, and highest is use the max function, and then open brackets, and it wants to know which numbers. Now don't include the average, just include these ones here, so I select those, and automatically Excel's put in B3 to B9, and we finish it with the round bracket and push enter. Okay, right, now we fill it along to the right hand side, and that's automatically given us all our highest marks, and we don't need to do the highest mark for each student, so we'll leave it at that. What we will do is we will take this now and we will give it some highlighting, but not as dark as what the headings were. So we'll do that there, and we'll do it here. So I'm just going to repeat the last action with an F4, and that's looking good. Okay, right, let's go back to our instructions and see what we need to do next. So we haven't done sort from the lowest to the highest person's average. Okay, so what we need to do is sort this data, or sort these records out from according to the average. So what we'll do is we will select all of these records, and we'll go to our home ribbon and across to the editing, and then the sort and filter, and we're going to do a custom sort, and we're going to sort by, it says sort by student average, and it's going to be the smallest to the largest, and we'll go OK, and there we go. Now Lee Lewis has come to the top because he has the smallest average. Okay, that's looking good. Right, let's go back and see what our next instructions are. Add borders along the bottom and left side of the data only. Okay, I've done that already. Here we go. Create a new maths adjusted column between the maths and the physics column. Make this new column data to be 90% of the current maths. Okay, right, so we need to have a new column in here. So what we'll do is we'll click on our D column, we'll right click, oh, my right click's not working. We'll right click and we're going to insert a column, and then we're going to call it maths adjusted, and enter. And this one here needs wrapping, the text needs wrapping, so we'll go home and wrap the text, and it still hasn't fitted in, so we'll just double click that out, that space, and it's still not working, so I'm going to drag it out physically till it's the right size. Okay, now this data here is going to be 90% of this. Well, that's very easy to do, because if we make a formula here which just equals that times 1, that's going to be 100%. Okay, so it's exactly the same value. So all we need to do is, we don't want it to be 1 because that's 100%. If we go 0.9 or 0.9, that will give us our 90%. Okay, so we'll click on that, we'll drag that down, and we should fill in the average two of these. So by selecting those two cells, dragging to the right, that now gives us an average. Okay, now we've got a problem here because we've lost our border. So what we'll do is we'll click on that cell there, we'll go home, we're going to use the format painter, which is this here, and that paints the format from that cell onto another cell, which we want it to be this one. And then you can see that that's worked. That's put the border back. Okay, right. Well, we need to get rid of some of these decimal places here. So we will go back to home, to our number, and we will reduce the decimal places down to one decimal place there. Okay, that's good. Right, now we will bring back our instructions. Number 8, ensure the averages include only the new maths column and not the old one. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to do that. It's very simple again. So here's our average, and it's going from B3, which is here, to G3. And we just need to now skip this column. So that's quite easy to do. So what we're going to do is we're going to say it goes from D3 to G3. So we're going to say it goes from D3 to G3, and then we're going to add another number, which we can do by using a comma. So I've put a comma in, and number 2 is going to be this cell here. So I'll just click there, push enter, and that's how we do it. So now we can fill down, and it will adjust all of those averages. So that little task is done. Okay, we've done that. Create a bar chart for the English results only. Okay, so here we go. So we need a bar chart which we want to include our English results. We're not going to include averages, the English results, and of course we need to have our students in there as well. Otherwise it's not going to mean very much to us. So we'll go insert, we've got a bar chart there. Now we could get fancy and we could do 3D column charts, and why not? Let's do that. Rather than just a simple bar chart like that. Let's do a 3D column. And there we go. So we'll move that down here, and I just want to show that to you. So that's good. It's got our title at the top. And we should actually change that to make it English marks. Not just English, it's English marks. Your title is very important in a chart. If you don't have the right title, then your chart really doesn't mean very much at all. So there we go. That's very obvious. We can see that John Smith has done is the top of the class there. Okay, so now we'll go back to our instructions and see what we do next. So we've created the bar chart. Change the following data. Harry's maths mark is 36, John's history mark is 88, and Nigel's English mark is 75. So this is going to affect all our chart and everything, but that's cool. So Harry's maths mark, so there's our maths, and there's Harry, and his mark was 36. Okay, and John's history mark. History, John's mark is 88 and Nigel's English mark is 75. So Nigel's English is 75. This one will truly change our chart. You watch down here. So as soon as I push enter, one of these will shoot up. I think it might actually be one of these down here. There we go. That's the one there. So it's shot up. So it's great having these dynamic charts that are linked straight back to the data. Okay, let's see what our next instructions are. Create a grand average for subjects and each person. Right, a grand average. So what they're talking about is an average of the averages. So I'll just move this down a little bit and we'll go grand, we'll call this grand average, and we're going to have to make the row a little bit larger, and we're going to have to wrap that text. Okay, that's looking good, and this needs to be the average of these. I'm just wondering how best to present this. Yeah, we'll just, actually what we might do is we might just bring this back here and we'll call it grand averages, and this will be for the students, and one underneath will be for the marks, no, the subjects. Okay, right, so this one here is going to be the average of these, so equals average, open bracket, select the data, close the bracket, enter. Okay, and this one will be the average along here, so once again equals average, open bracket, select these cells along here, close the bracket, push enter. So there we go. Now we just need to format this up a bit. What I might do here is merge these cells. So merge the cells like that. And the rest of it we can just, I think we'll make it all bold, so select it all, Control B to make it bold. We're going to give it a background fill, so that colour looks good, and we will give it some borders, so we'll go all borders. Oh no, let's cancel that. Let's drop this down. We'll do this all borders here, and then we'll also do a thick outside border, I think. Yep, that sounds pretty good. So there we go, and we will center it in height and center it there. Actually, yep. So there we go. That's good. Okay. So the student's average was 55.3. The subject average is 53.3. Now the difference there is because we have got that 90% difference. Because the student average didn't include the maths subject. So that'll be the difference. That'll be the reason that we've got a difference there. Okay, right. Let's see where we go now. Take a screenshot with the formulas showing. That shouldn't be there. That word should not be there. So I'm just going to remove that, and I'll save that. take a screenshot with formulas showing, and to do that we use the Control plus that little squiggly icon there, which is up in the top left hand corner of your keyboard. For me it's just under the escape key. So what I need to do now is go Control and that little squiggly character, and then unfortunately, actually, if I zoom out, then I can see everything. So I'm going to take a screenshot of that. So that's Alt Print Screen, and then we will come over and have a look at our instructions again. Paste the screenshot below the data. Okay, so we'll come down here and we will paste it here, and there we go, there's the screenshot showing the formulas. And what we'll do now actually is we just want to see the formulas. So if providing your screenshot is selected like this, making sure it's a picture now, just make sure the picture is selected, then you should have this format tab appear. Yes, this is the one. We'll go crop, and we're going to bring it right in to just include our table, and it will remove everything else. There we go, and then as soon as I click away like that, everything else is gone. So there's my screenshot, and that's what I want you guys to do. Okay, now you wouldn't normally be doing this in a proper a work type environment, but this is school, and this allows me to see that you have got all your formulas in place. Okay, right, let's see what else we need to do. Show page layout view, then put your name in the header on the right hand side, and then hand in your work. Okay, so down, actually you can do it either down the bottom here, or you can go up here, view, and we've got a page layout, but let's use the shortcut down here. On your status bar down the bottom it says page layout, so click that, and this is what your page is going to look like when it's printed on paper. Now the interesting thing is that this is looking pretty horrible because it's not fitting on the paper. Fully, it's not fitting on the paper. So to help that, what we can do is we can go page layout, and we'll change our orientation to landscape, and I think that it's still not fitting on the paper, but I'm probably not going to worry about that. I think we might just leave that. We're not actually going to print it out. There are ways of fixing that, actually. I think I know what we've done wrong. We'll go back to the other view. Right, so what we need to do is get rid of these, stop the formulas from showing. So if I go Control and that little squiggly thing again, that should now fit on the page a lot better. We might just make that a little bit wider. And actually, you know what, I'm going to go right out here and make that merge and center that. I have to click it twice. Okay, we'll leave it at that. Right, now let's go back to our page layout view, and still, oh yeah, that's looking better. Okay, that's looking a lot better. So it's all fitting now onto our page. Okay, right, add a header. If I just put the mouse over that, what we can do is on the right hand side, I want it on the right hand side, enter your name, so don't copy me now. You put your name. I'm going to put Mr. Laver, if I can spell my own name, Mr. Laver, and I want you to put your name, and then I'm just going to make it a little bit larger. There we go. And that will appear, if we were to print that, that would appear at the top of the page and on the top of every page. Okay, that's it. So save your work. Let me see, I might just do an F12 and I'm going to save it into my documents, and we're going to call it student marks, and go save. And that's what you guys need to do. If you can hand that in and then get on to your next lesson. Okay, let's see you.